I have the keys to a 2018 Porsche 911 Turbo S, and I have 1 mile to drive it and give you my impressions. So in this 1 mile review, we are driving what is one of the fastest Porsches ever made up until 2018. And in fact, until the GT2 RS came out, it was the fastest 911 of that era. This one here is a local members, and it's in Carrara white metallic. You can't see it very easily right now, but you get up close and in certain lights, and it has a nice metallic hue to it. So the Turbo S was the granddaddy of all 911s from that era, and for a long time. And in this version, it has a 3.8 liter twin turbocharged flat 6 that makes 580 horsepower. It was only available with a 7-speed PDK, so that's the transmission that this car has, and it puts the power down to all 4 wheels. Now, the Turbo S also has the Turbo S script in the back, a nice spoiler that raises up and down depending on the speed. And if you want to look at the engine, I learned a little bit earlier, you pull up the engine lid button in the interior, but instead of going back around it and lifting it up with your hand, it actually lifts up the whole panel that allows the Cabriolet roof to go up and down. So that was a fun thing to learn when I was scoping out this car a little bit earlier. I'm sure it's going to be super fast. I've driven a 991 Turbo S before. I know this won't disappoint in the performance. It also weighs about 3,600 pounds, in case you're wondering, and this one has some very nice interior accents. So carbon fiber trim, a carbon fiber steering wheel that has some leather on it as well, and this thing is wrapped in a ton of leather. I believe I saw it on the dash when I was looking at that, on the armrests, and pretty much every place you can look, there is leather wrapped around it. Now with that, it's time to take this car out for a drive and let you know what I think after a mile.
Be sure to log into your YouTube account, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a video. Best of all, it's free to do so.
So yeah, let's get going with this 3.8 liter 991 Turbo S. So I'm gonna keep it in drive for this first part of the review. And I'll put it into manual mode on the way back. Hopefully I remember that. And while I'm in manual mode, I will also put the car's PDCC on to see what it feels like with less roll, with those active anti-roll bars. Now as I pull away, I notice, just like every new Porsche, they are really docile at low speeds and they feel like a normal car, a normal Carrera, any other luxury car that you might drive, especially if they're German. Touchy brakes, I know that that's kind of the case with carbon ceramics, so that's something to keep in mind. They'll stop you every single time without fade, but they have a slightly touchier pedal. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of throttle. And PDK, oh man, this thing has the torque and the power, that's for sure. Now PDK is just such a great transmission, and in the newer 911s like this, it's just so seamless. It's almost like, why would you want an automatic? You know, I love the ZF 8-speed that are in some of the 4-door Porsches, or Cayenne I should say, but man, this is just a very nice car to cruise around in. And I love the open feeling. Now I'm gonna put it down for a second. Oh yeah, that acceleration, those brakes are so good. I'm gonna do it again. Yeah, and turbo noises. I don't remember hearing those turbo noises, the whoosh of the wastegate in the coupe Turbo S that I drove several years ago. So there's a plus right there, is you buy a Cabriolet and you can hear all those brilliant noises that the engine makes as it's making 580 horsepower and a ton of torque. So here's our turnaround area. I'm gonna put it into manual mode before I forget, and I'm going to engage PDCC. Guess I could also put it in Sport or Sport Plus mode, so I'll put it in Sport Plus. So So what that does is sharpens up the throttle response, sharpens up the active suspension, you know, the dampers, the passive dampers, and it also engages the PDCC active anti-roll bars. So it looks like we're clear here, so I'm gonna pull out. Sometimes when I'm turning the wheel, I like to use that. Oh yeah, instantaneous shifts, that's for sure. And then, oh yeah, the downshift, just so quick. And again, I cannot say how cool it is to hear all the noises in this Cabriolet versus a coupe. Oh yeah. You know, I can't really feel what the PDCC is doing in this short drive at slower speeds, but now the steering, it's electric power steering, and I know a lot of Porsche files love the hydraulic steerings of generations before the 991, but to be honest, I've never minded the electric power steering in the 991, and in this car it has a nice weight to it. Oh man, just so smooth. This car just makes you look like a hero behind the wheel. Wow. For a car like this, that isn't a track car necessarily, although it could go on the track quite easily, for a car like this, a Turbo S, which is meant for high speed on the Autobahn or highway and cruising, or basically a do-it-all sort of car, I can already say that I'd probably go Cabriolet over coupe, and I'm not a Cabriolet sort of person, but all the turbo noises that are happening, you know, right behind you when the roof is down is just, it's amazing, and I wasn't expecting that. All right, so now here's the ratings for the 1 mile review. Car Show is the first rating, and let's see, what'll I give this car? It's a Turbo S, it's a super special car. It's not flashy in the sense that it has a loud paint scheme, but people will notice this car if you drive by, if not for the sound, but because it says Turbo S on the sides and on the back, and you can just tell that this is packing more than what a regular Carrera is packing underneath the deck lid. It's not a loud car, so it's not going to score super high, but I'm going to give this a 7.5 for Car Show. Next score is Daily Driver, and Porsche is the king of the daily driven sports car, and the Turbo and Turbo S models are the most extreme and capable examples of that. So while you could say a Carrera is just as good as a daily driver as this, you got to remember, when you're paying for a Turbo S, you're getting all the options, all the creature comforts, seat heaters, seat coolers. It doesn't get horrible gas mileage for the performance you're getting, and you have a frunk and you can store things in the back. So extremely comfortable car to drive. I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10 for daily driving. And that's almost because I need to leave some room for road tripping, which I think this car would be even better for road tripping than daily driving, because it has the Cabriolet soft top. For daily driving, you might not be able to put the top down, or want to put the top down, or even drive it in the wintertime out here in Maryland when it might snow, or you know, the weather gets pretty cold here. But for road tripping, so I'm gonna give this a 7.5 for road trip. As far as fun factor, now this is gonna rate higher than most that I've driven, and I'm gonna say that a coupe, my estimate would be an 8 or 8.5 for fun to drive. This 8.5 or 9, because it's one of the fastest Porsches that the company has made, and you put that roof down and it just becomes more fun. You have all the performance, all the creature comforts, so you can have fun driving it and be super comfortable. I'm gonna put this even higher than I have most cars, and I'm gonna do a quarter scale here. I'm gonna say it's an 8.75. That might be one of the highest cars I've rated for fun factor since we've started 1 mile reviews. But yeah, 8.75 here. We'll see if we can fit that in our box. And with that, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel so you don't miss an upload. We're trying to make 100,000 subscribers, and you can be a part of that, achieving that goal. If you like the video, please like it, and we'd love to hear you comment in the comment section. Tell me if I'm right about this car, if I'm wrong about it, or if I've forgotten something. Let me know. Love to hear you in comments. And with that, that's the end of my 1 mile review, and I'll see you next time.